that will glorify Jesus and will prepare you for whatever is going to come your way. And the best way to get ready for tomorrow is to do God's will today. It's waiting. And it's not that waiting is easy or enjoyable. It's not. It's very difficult. But you see, God makes us wait so that God can make us more like Jesus. We become more like Christ because we learn how to wait. And let's realize this, that God's never late. God's always on time. Always on time. Whether we realize it or not, God is always on time because we learn to wait. I think of the missionary John Patton. Him and his wife and family were missionaries to the New Hebrides Islands many years ago. It was an island filled with cannibals. And so one night, the natives surrounded their home, and they were going to burn them out and kill them. And John Patton and his wife began to pray. And then they waited. They prayed some more, and they waited. They thought, we're going to be killed. Nothing else to do, but they waited. The next morning, they looked out their windows. All the natives were gone. No one in sight. And they thought, this is interesting. What's going on? A year later, the chief of these natives was won to the Lord, became a Christian. And missionary John Patton began to talk to him and says, I'm curious about something. About a year ago, you were intent on killing us. What happened? And he said, well, the chief looked at me kind of puzzled and said, what do you mean? He goes, who were all those people with you? And John Patton said, there was just my wife, my kids, and I. He goes, oh, no. The chief said, we were getting ready to attack, and there were hundreds of soldiers surrounding your house with flaming swords. So we ran away. True story. Wait and see the awesomeness of our God. That's the whole thrust of waiting. It's part of the hour that changes the world. Last week we talked about praise. This week we're talking about waiting. But you see, all that waiting is really summed up in one thing. Most of you know I'm so Jesus-centric. I love Jesus with all of my heart, all of my being. There's a little chorus we sing, turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. We're getting ready to go into our communion service this morning. We're doing a little different. But before we do, listen to this little song.
Set your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things will grow strangely in the
of you stand in your concept of Jesus and how that works for you? I've heard teacher, friend, lover, master of the sea, lighthouse. Doesn't matter. Each one of us here can have that concept today. And you know, when the Lord's Supper was first done, it wasn't done like we see in the churches, okay? The church took that and made it a sacrament, and that's why we remember it. Had the church not lifted that meal as a sacrament, it would have been just one of the other things Jesus did in his life.
That's right.